Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Terraria video. We're doing expert mode this time. We're really excited to get it going for you. Me and Kingston are back at it again. Oh man, it's been a little bit. It's been a little bit since we played, but you know, we're gonna do what every adventurer does, and that's build a house. And instead of building the lame, you know, like 1x7 rooms for the NPCs, we're gonna build a giant skyscraper. So we start by building woods, kind of like this. This will grow as we go on in our adventure, but for now, that's kind of what we got. And of course, that entails that we must survive the first night, which we definitely don't. Now, if you haven't taken this time already, make sure you guys do go down and hit that subscribe button. You know, I mean, it ain't gonna hurt anybody if you press it. If you do, you get to watch more content just like this. For the record, for today, we're going to be just beating three quick and easy bosses. We're just going to be Eye of Cthulhu. We're going to be the Brain of Cthulhu, Queen Bee, you know the whole deal. So yeah, let me know down below. I mean, if you guys have faith in Kingston today, please put it all in, because I really don't. We'll do a poll. Take a guess how many times you think Kingston will die before we hit the end of this video. Now let's get back into it. So the first thing we do go get is some platinum ore. Platinum ore is necessary to give us just a nice starting armor so that we can get better loot, but, you know, we get too impatient for that, and we go straight to the jungle to get the best weapons that we can get. And the best weapons would entail the Blade of Grass and the Amazon Yo-Yo that you can get from getting stingers and vines from the jungle mobs. So we get into that. We're beating up the hornets. And the jungle is probably one of the most annoying areas to try to get loot from. And as we're getting our kills here, we kill our final hornet here. And that's pretty much it. We're pretty much set to get done and go back up to the base. But of course, as I'm trying to leave, I'm in a body-tight tunnel. And as I go up, of course, it's a guaranteed hit for any hornet that happens to be sneaking in the dark. And of course, we die. So now that's 2 deaths in the span of a couple minutes. But as we respawn, we end up fighting a bunch of Blood Moon mobs. Now, the Blood Moon doesn't really do much for us, but it's more of just an annoyance thing, so we have to take it out to save some of the NPCs that have finally started forming in our skyscraper. And once that's all said and done, we get back to mining for what's necessary, and that is Feral Claws. So that way we get a damage and speed boost to our weapon speeds, and we also now have the ability to pair that with our Blade of Grass, which will be very good when fighting mobs. Now, the next thing we want to grab is Lucky Horseshoe and the Balloon, so we get better jump height and we don't take fall damage, further increasing our mobility as such. And we also get the Star Fury Sword, which is pretty good. And it's kind of hit or miss. If you're good with it, it's a good weapon. It does enough damage. But we're fighting our first boss, the Eye of Cthulhu. And if you remember, the Eye of Cthulhu is a pretty light boss. Nothing too crazy, you know. I mean, storyline-wise, if we want to go back, there's a lot of things we can say about this guy. This guy definitely doesn't hit the gym. He don't put the weights on. He's literally just a flying eyeball. And, you know, like all things, it's another waste of our time. And to waste even more of our time, he decides, hey, why don't I die halfway underground so you have to dig down and get all the loot? So, of course, we spend the good 15 seconds to go run down and do that before we continue to his brother, the Brain of Cthulhu. Obviously, how can you control eyes without a brain? Nobody has any clue. But if you want to fight the Brain of Cthulhu, you got to make sure that you set your map to the Crimson Biome setting beforehand. So, we build our little contraption, best way I know how, and we get set to fight. So we drop our dynamite, break the last heart, similar to the Eater of Worlds, and here we go. I mean, it's kind of odd that the Brain of Cthulhu uses eyes. Doesn't make any sense. You'd figure he'd do something cool, but no, he's unoriginal, not cool, not funny, like the annoying kid in the back of the class who just steals all the good kids' jokes. We quickly try to take this out swiftly. I mean, we're already 1-0 against bosses as of right now. We're trying to keep it 2-0. Of course, Kingston does not. He wants to go 1 for 1 and decide, hey, while he's attacking us, why don't I just dash right into the only part of him that will kill me? And, you know, there he goes. Gone forever.
Gone forever, Aaron Hernandez.
Of course, now I'm left to take it away. I have very little health. He's closing in on me around. Everything's going crazy. And finally, we get the job done. And we can get our loot bag. We can get the Brain of Confusion, which can be very useful. Negate some of the damage. We can phase through some of the attacks that mobs give us. And of course, you know, we just get the basic stuff like Crimtane Armor, which is very good for the melee class. As we go back into the jungle, did a couple more loot. And obviously fight the ever long-lasted Queen Bee. Now, if you remember in our old video, Queen Bee is like a little sister to us, and, you know, we're going to beat her to a bloody pulp, because why not? So, we get started, we break her hive, her nesting area, and we get right back into the fight. Now, of course, you know, I would say this is a pretty easy fight if you have the right stuff, if you have the immunity to poison, checked in. You know, you can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of things, you know. The bees aren't that tough of a problem, especially if you have the blade of grass. Big sword takes a lot of the area. And, you know, you just kind of jump when she flies back and forth. And you occasionally dip in the honey when you need some extra health. Of course, though, for Kingston, this isn't really an easy fight. Because, you know, knowing him, no boss fight is ever easy. We're 2-0, he's 1-1. And, you know, he jumps, dodges a couple of moves, and then he decides, yeah, I just don't think I want to dodge anymore. And in fact, I'm going to run right into the queen bee and get myself killed. Kind of like how he always does. I don't understand why I continue to play with him, but, you know, it is what it is. So, he comes back for a second time. Let's give it a double take. I mean, hopefully this time he can do pretty good. He's dodging. He's half health, though, because he decided not to talk to the nurse. And, I mean, I swear, it's like trying to take care of a newborn child with this kid. He's already dead for the second time. I'm left here to survive at full health. This boss fight has been pretty easy so far. He comes back for a third time, expecting a different result. I don't understand why, but that's just where we're at this point. Trial and error. I mean, I know that's how this game is, but, I mean, I haven't lost to a boss. There is no such thing as trial and error for me. For him, though, he's 1-4 on bosses. Like, it's absolutely atrocious. And, of course, I spend the next, like, 30 minutes trying to take down the dang thing again. He finally decides, hey, it's time to come back and do what he always does and die for a fourth time.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
So, I defeat the boss, and that's about it. I don't know what you expect from us. Especially from him. I don't know what you can expect from him. But you know, that's how it's gonna go, and that's how the cookie crumbles. So if you did enjoy watching Kingston die over and over again, and you did enjoy this experience, stay tuned for the next episode, as it'll be coming out pretty quickly. And maybe you won't see Kingston die. Or you probably will, because, you know, that's just his motto.
I see who you are my